Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today in this classic review, we're going back in time one more time, and we're taking a look at the G.I. Joe, a real American hero, Cobra Commander. Now, this is the swivel arm one. This is not the straight arm one, and I know what a lot of people are probably thinking already. Well, there was mail-aways, and there was carded one. I'm just going with the original figures, all right? There was the Series 1 and then Series 1.5. This is Series 1.5. Anyway, we're going to take a look at them, look at the design of them. And once again, if you're wondering why I do this, it's because reviewing the classified figures, comparing them to the O-rings, I noticed all kinds of detail that we never noticed as a kid, or even maybe that we did notice but didn't really realize so much what they did. So I like going back, taking a look at what they did here. And hey, you know what? Maybe it just brings back those feels of being a kid, a different time in your life, maybe something simpler, a happy moment with your cousins, your mom, your dad, whatever. Anyway, let's go ahead. We're going to take a look at this guy. We have his hair dryer or laser pistol, whatever you want to call it, and just quickly take a look at them. So before we do, if you like this type of content, you like the classic reviews that I've been giving you, please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop an O-ring, a real American hero video. Alright, so now looking at this guy, and you can see I got a second one here. And the only reason why I grabbed this guy, he is actually from the HasLab, is because he has the Mickey Mouse logo. And I'm going to show you guys what the Mickey Mouse logo is, because a lot of people don't really realize what it is. Anyway, so we'll start with the accessories. The hand is very tight. Always be careful if you have any O-rings. However a gun fits in a weapon, you make sure you just remove it that way. So this became the hair dryer. I'll be honest, I always just assumed it was this laser. I don't think it is a hair dryer, but I never even saw it as a hair dryer. But the moment someone mentioned it, you can't unsee it. So it does have this nice little cross on it here, and that's meant so it can plug into his back. But just some nice little detail to it. No trigger guard, no trigger on it. And this side is different, so you know it only goes in one direction, all right? That is the only accessory that he does come with. Now this figure here, contrary to what a lot of people want, he does not have the white stripe. You guys have to remember, what you saw in the animated series is not what G.I. Joe was. The animated series took it and they made their own characters for the most part. The G.I. Joe was its own line and then based off of the comic by Larry Hama. But here you just have his classic hood. I mean, I don't want to say the hood. His classic helmet, and then the silver mask that just kind of sits right there. We talked about the rivets before. These aren't stained or iodized or anything. And then you have this really modern, I don't say modern, but this military outfit where, you know, he's not going into battle. He's a lieutenant. Well, he's obviously a commander, but something that you would see a formal wear. And then you have the Cobra symbol right there. But you got to love how they put the three little buttons right there. And then when you get to the collar, you can see exactly how nice it is. And then, of course, they have little pins up here for him. He's got the belt that goes around the waist, which is always kind of odd to me. And then you have his belt buckle, which has this just triangle insignia. I don't know why. And then just a couple little pouches there. But again, for some odd reason on the Cobras, there are no belt loops. And I know we discussed that, or I talked about that before. I love the belt loops because it makes it feel like it's a real belt. They even put little back pockets with buttons on it right there. And he does have his gloved hand. So we never really know what color he is. Not that it matters. But we never get to see if he's white, black, Hispanic, whatever. He does have the knife right here. And I kind of pointed out on the Cobra Officer, the insignia here is the same that goes right there. So on the Cobra Officer, it looks like the thigh is the exact same. So there's very little that is reused on all of these. And here you can kind of see the clasp when this guy is actually worn. But I always like this here. I never thought of it as a sheath, but looking at it, I'm sure that's probably a sheath. But it's kind of strapped to him. And then you have to love this, the unitar look. I always found this funny because I always said these stirrups would, they would rip. And you're not going to be running around, but hey, this is Cobra Commander. He can do whatever he wants. And then we have the red stripe that just runs right down the side. Now on the back, these are the types of things that I never really noticed. Now, obviously, we all know this little trick. You have the gun, and it plugs directly into it, and it doesn't fall off. And this was one of the coolest things. We didn't, at least I didn't see anything like this. There were very few holsters. I know that the my Lone Ranger figures had holsters, but this was something that we never really saw, and we don't see it for quite some time, I don't believe either. But when you look here, you can tell that it's kind of strapped around and it just sits on there. All right, so this actually wraps around. You know what? That's what I'm talking about. Now I'm noticing. So this actually, it actually holds on here. This piece clasps onto here. It wraps around to hold this piece down, and then these two pieces hold it in place. Now, I never understood this other than it just plugged into the back. But when you look at the classified version of them, all right, this piece here is a separate piece. And when you look at this, you realize, oh, wow, that is a completely separate piece. Now, obviously, this is where your screw is for his back, and you can put a backpack if need be, or plug him into the claw or anything like that. And it almost looks like maybe this is some sort of charger. There's a different dials here, or different knobs, different buttons. And again, this thing just kind of plugs directly into here. And if you're wondering why I didn't have it on here to begin with, he's actually sitting in a fang. That's how I have him displayed. So he's sitting in a fang, and you kind of have to use the backpack for it. As for the articulation, once again, he still cannot look it down yet, but he does look side to side. And as I will mention probably every time, I like the fact that they don't let it just do a complete Exorcist 360. O-rings have absolutely no issues when it comes to that T-pose, and they all do just a little over 90 degrees. No wrist swivel, which would have been awesome. I love the fact that the modern ones are mostly doing that. And then you have the O-ring, and if you're wondering why it's called an O-ring, it's because there is a O rubber band in there. Not just a regular rubber band either. Jean-Claude Van Damme only goes about this far, but these are meant to sit like that, and then obviously the knee bend. So this figure has actually stayed in really good condition. Whoever I purchased it off of, you can see a little bit of wear, obviously, on the mask. It hasn't been repainted. It actually looks like maybe it's looks like it might have gotten a little bite from a dog or something also over time, because this is not my original one. But the hand, and I will say this again, when it comes to O-ring stuff, if you cannot fit something in their hand, if it sits on the outside, don't force it. Don't break any of these thumbs, because guess what? There's only so many left, and well, you want to keep it in as nice a shape as possible. So as for the insignia, so there you have your Cobra logo, all right? And that's what everyone got to know. It is a wonderful looking logo, but the original one had this Mickey Mouse. All right, and if you're wondering why it looks like Mickey Mouse, it looks like it's the Mickey Mouse ears up top there. And it has something to do with when they put it on, when they removed it, the wrong stuff came out, I believe. So it was kind of inverted in many ways. So they trashed that. It was known as the Mickey Mouse. I don't believe there was anything of them being sued for it or anything like that. It wasn't the logo that they wanted. So there are very few of these in real life. Again, this is the HasLab Sky Striker one. That one is not worth the money. If you have one, it is worth the money. You put it aside or send it to me. I'll take good care of it. Either way, there you go. That is your Cobra Commander with, in my opinion, one of the most innovative parts of the G.I. Joe, especially once they started there. All right, there you go. That is the version 1.5 Cobra Commander in all his glory. And I really do think this is a wonderful, wonderful figure. I think it is why so many people love the classified version of it. This thing's going to stand the test of time because he's just wearing like a formal military outfit in Cobra logo. It doesn't go out of style. I happened to be flipping through stations today. I went to watch some football, and Leave It to Beaver was on, okay? And when you looked at the dad, he's always wearing a suit, and you're like, you could walk into a job today, into an interview, and yeah, the suits may change a little bit, but for the most part, it's just going to work. This is the same thing. This uniform, this outfit, it is just always going to work. You look at a lot of the new G.I. Joe figures in the classified, as awesome as they look, you see the fatigues, you see what they're wearing, and it's like, that is Vietnam era. They don't wear this stuff anymore, but it means a lot to us. But as they modernize it, it's never going to look, it's going to change. This is never going to change. So anyway, there he is, Cobra Commander, and like I said, all his glory. But I am going to get out of here. Thank you for sticking out and listening to this. Hopefully this brings back some childhood memories. I don't have any other memories for this one, but I know going forward, I'm sure as I look at each of these figures, some memories will probably pop out from other figures. So I'm going to get out of here, but please, if you haven't yet, take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop one of these. Now I'm going to get out of here, but what I'm going to do is up here is I'm going to leave you a link to the Cobra Officer, and down here is going to be a playlist of all the other classic reviews that I've done. Take care.